Ooh. Hey, this is Derek Demore with Futures Networks Live, and we're here with Valerie and a couple other folks, and just going to go over something that we noticed, which is basically kind of learning the Elliott wave and when is the time to get into a trade. And we're on the 1 hour chart right now, as you can see, on the Nasdaq of all things, but it just shows you that you can use any chart to kind of learn from. And overall, I know Valerie's been trading with us for a while. And what do you see about this chart, Valerie, that intrigues you or did intrigue you that we've kind of already talked about?
Well, we were looking at spots of feeling confident where to get in, where we can be more sure that our trades will fill. And one of them was just waiting for after the second wave breaks the one.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be a good place to get in long. And that is where it launched up quite a bit from there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can also see, the one broke our A from earlier, our A, B, C chop,
Mm-hmm.
and then pulled back to the two. And as soon as the two price action got above where the one was, it made everybody confident that we were moving up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Make some points there.
Yeah, so if we kind of, peel back if we go a little bit backwards on this, which I think I'm going to have to pause this for a second just to. Okay, so Valerie was going over that we had just had some A, B, C chop in a downward. We've been going up long term, and we just had a nice little 5 wave. I could show you that this was actually a 5 wave Elliott wave. We just had some ABC chop, and now this is the 0 to 1, and we're wondering, how far is this going to pull back? Is this going to be an ABC chop, or is this going to be a 5 wave pullback? Well, we don't know at this point. So we're thinking to ourselves, when is the good time to get into the most profitable trade at the time that we're pretty sure as to what's going on? Well, I'm kind of forecasting here what's going to happen, but we didn't know that this was going to come back and stop at the 2. But once it does, and you kind of look at this and say, okay, we know that that's the level. Where do we want to get in to make sure that this is going to launch? And you can kind of see that it's had its nice pullback. We've already had like a couple attempts to try to break, this peak, and it just starts to take off. And there's a lot of probably other factors that, looking left, we know that we broke the A, and we broke this kind of line right here, and you could go back probably further and see some important, lines in the sand and do Fibonacci's, but I'm trying to keep it really simple and just say this is a beautiful opportunity to know that we were at a 1 and to go long here. And so now, well, where do you want to exit? Well, that's a pretty good move in the Nasdaq. We've already gone up, over 100 points from that launch, 260 up to 389. And now we're like, okay, we're probably going to, hit the B and the start of the down wave from here. We most likely will hit some headway right here. So maybe this is a good spot to kind of start looking at taking some profits and looking for a pullback. And I think that that's what happened. Oh, no, it went up a little higher, and then it kind of went sideways. And now we're like, okay, we hit what looks like a 2 to 3. We don't know that this is the end of the 3 yet. But then we're getting a pullback, and we're like, where is the pullback going to stop? And ironically, you're thinking, okay, great. As long as this stays above the 1, then this will be a 4. And then we're looking for a future time that it breaks above the 3 to go long. So that's all we're looking at right now is give me some confirmation. If this goes below a 1, then we have to reevaluate and think this might be turning around. This might be a head and shoulders. We could be hitting lower lows. But the neat thing is, and a good spot to actually take a long was this came down and literally tapped the 200 period on the 1 hour. And it was right in the middle of a lot of price action from this kind of, double tap old top, right at the bottom of this stuff. So it was really a good spot right in the middle of a lot of chop. And so now we're like, okay, we missed that. We missed this. We missed this. And we're looking, okay, now we were pretty sure now it's starting to go up. Once we get above the old B and the old higher high, so this line at 13,450, we're waiting. Ooh, we're above that now. I think we're pretty excited because now we're thinking from 450 all the way up to 570. We're thinking this is going to go up, maybe double tap again. But the minute that it breaks on the 1 hour, and I'd love to see what the 5 minute looks like. Look what it does. Bam. And that is 573 to 660. That's 90 points in, an hour. Really, you almost got you got 80 points in about an hour. So with if you just put your stop right below the 3 and got in there, that's a wonderful thing. Any comments, Valerie?
Yes, especially after that candle closed above the 3.
Mm-hmm.
The next candle shot straight up from there. So that
no wick, even on the 1
looks
hour.
like a really nice confirmation candle there that it wants to continue up.
Yeah.
No wick at all.
And what's neat about this, and we talked about it, is normally the 4 to 5 is about, the same distance as the 0 to 1. So you can go back to the 0 to 1 and say, okay, that's 953 to 244, which gives us about 300 points. So you're thinking that this run is going to be minimum 300, but then a lot of times it will match whatever the 2 to 3 or be very close to whatever the 2 to 3 run is. And that gives you, I think this was 152 to 566. So that's, 400 points. So we're thinking of a 200 point move that puts us at 7 in the 750, area. So even if you waited for a little bit if you could get a pullback that didn't break the 3, you still have a lot more momentum left. So I think that's kind of what we're, trading until this stalls out, like go long. This is where Anthony Crudele would be, scaling in once it broke this, right? He would be just pile in, go, not all in, but, get in as much as you can. So I love this. I'm going to pause this just for a sec. Now we're looking at the 5 minute chart just to kind of see on the 5 minute what was happening in that same area. You have the line. So this is the 3 over here, the peak. We have the same line right here. So I'm going to spread it out a little bit. Opening bell is just about to happen, right? And we're down at 50. But we're thinking, okay, we kind of know that we're in the 4 to 3 run. And again, let's go back here. We're looking at this, right? And we're in this candlestick right here. Okay. And we're down. And we passed the peak back here of the B and the shoot. I don't quite have, but wherever it was, let's just say it was at the pivot point. We know we're above those 2. So we're thinking, man, there's some room to move from 450 up to this 567. So if I was to go through this day again, I would have really thought long, absolute worst case, put my last limit order at 500. And I'm pretty sure that this is a long, you can just tell by the chart, by the overall charts, that this was up, up, up. And yeah, it's easy because we have hindsight, but everything was saying, man, this is going to go challenge this 3 because we're in the 4 to 5 run right now. And it gives a lot of back and forth. And so if I got in at 500, I would have had to endure 7 points, which is only like 1.25 points on the S&P. So that's not a lot, to think 500 would have been my opening bell limit order, last, DCA, whatever, and, put my stop somewhere in this area. And then it just continues. Like, look at that. And now we're coming up to the 5-minute. Okay. So it pierces it. It comes back, but we have closed above it. Let's just see what happens. Okay. It actually gave us a little wick back. So an opportunity to get in right at the line, and it came back basically 8 points, which again is about 1.5 points on the S&P. I mean, yeah, could it have come all the way back to roughly the R1? Yeah, but if you want to be super safe, maybe wait for another close above it and then get in back at the line. That could have been. Sometimes it runs away though, and then it literally just took off from there. So really cool to see how, going back to this 60-minute and where, this on the 60 where this was, and then on the 4-hour, wasn't the 4-hour. We have that. How come it changed? I thought it was red. What happened? Oh, it's on this one. There we go. All right. Well, that's a little bit of Elliott Wave. I think that's helped my trading. Hopefully Val and I can look at this in the future and look at it maybe on shorter term, like the 1 minute, and see if we're in these waves and see how much we can gain from learning this Elliott Wave theory right here. Thanks for your help, Valerie.
You're welcome.
All right.